I've been getting a lot of mixed opinions from family and friends on this topic. Recently, I had a family get-together at my house. Me and my husband host these get-togethers once a month to catch up with family and our close friends over a shared meal. There's usually around 10 of us, and we were all very close. This past get-together, my son L brought his girlfriend S of a year with him. I never had any problems with my children bringing their partners to these get-togethers. I have never really liked S, but I try not to allow that to affect my son's relationship with her, as it isn't my place. My husband also doesn't have the best views of S. We have our reasons for our dislike of her. S is often rude and casually says rude things about other family members. She doesn't clean up after herself and moves furniture in my house while she's here. I wouldn't mind that as much, but my sister-in-law is blind, so this causes some problems. She makes remarks about my daughter's struggle with fertility, which has been causing my daughter a lot of emotional pain, along with just being a jerk to my daughter in general. She also mistreats L, often yelling at him, belittling, and gaslighting him. She scolds him like he's a child over things like him not doing enough chores at their apartment. She is unemployed and lives at his apartment while he works long hours. Overall, not a pleasant person. I have often tried to explain to my son that the way she treats him is unacceptable and that they should honestly break up. A few weeks ago, S kicked my son out of his own apartment over an argument. He said he was through with her, and I thought that was the last of it. This past get-together, S was there with L. I didn't press or ask questions, as it wasn't my business. After the main course, while everyone was relaxing and chatting at the dinner table, S and L stood up saying they had news. S had recently found out she was pregnant. Everyone congratulated the two, while my stomach sank. I could tell something was off with L as well. He had always wanted kids, but he didn't look excited. S began talking about how excited we must be to finally, after so long, be having our first grandbaby. My daughter looks upset, but still congratulated her. Me and my husband just stayed quiet. We quietly congratulated our son, who looked miserable before bringing out dessert. Recently, I've been getting a lot of angry texts from S saying how disappointed she was in us for not being over the moon about our first grandbaby, and how we didn't seem all that thrilled. She accused us of hating her and being R towards the mother of our grandchild. I am not white. And how we would have no contact with her or L until we apologized. A couple of friends and family have said I should have just sucked it up, but I don't think I was in the wrong. I'm worried about L, who I haven't heard from since the get-together. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You didn't even say anything mean. You didn't make a scene. You said congratulations quietly. What the hell did she expect? Confetti to rain down on her head? Good Lord. I cannot even begin to comprehend how someone can be so glaringly awful to move furniture around a home that isn't theirs, knowing there is a blind person depending on the setup. Wow. Just wow. Not the a-hole. What a total mess. It looks as if L feels stuck, and I guess he is. I can't stand this woman, and I have only read about her. I can't imagine what you must be feeling. I can see why you're not excited about this grandchild. It's not the child's fault, but it certainly messes up a lot of lives. You have my sympathy. Not the a-hole. If you have a way of reaching out to your son, I think it would be okay if you tell him that you're there if he's ready to talk, and that there are always options. Maybe he'll hear you, maybe he won't. Either way, he's an adult, and it'll be up to him to take a first step. Really unfortunate situation all around. When I, 24 female, was 12, my dad, 43 male, cheated on my mother, 42 female, with my godmother Mary, 46 female. Mary and I always had a good relationship, and I saw her as a second mother figure. Mary is infertile and always told me that I was like her own daughter. I saw how badly my dad's cheating hurt my mom, so I started to resent him and Mary. I started seeing my dad and Mary twice a year and refused to see them on birthdays or holidays. When I turned 19, my dad expressed how badly he wanted to see me on Christmas, so I decided it wouldn't hurt to see him and Mary. When I was at their house, my mother came into a conversation, and they talked about her with so much hate. Mary said things about how she thought that at first, she thought my mom, who was dead at the time, being diagnosed with breast cancer was a joke, because she always knew my mom was an attention seeker. I went very low contact with my dad and Mary after that. I'm getting married in a month, and a cousin on my dad's side, who I was still on good terms with, told my dad and Mary. I was immediately bombarded with texts from Mary and my dad telling me how hurt they are, and how I took away a big experience from them. I do feel bad because I am taking away a big experience from my dad to walk me down the aisle, and since he refuses to adopt and Mary is infertile, he won't get this opportunity. Some friends and people on my dad's side say that I should stop holding a grudge, and that the only person who had a problem with Dad and Mary's relationship was my mom, and now that she is dead, I shouldn't care. I'm very stuck here, and I don't know what to do. I'm getting mixed answers from everyone, and I don't understand if I did anything wrong. I wanted to get unbiased answers. Not the a-hole. Your dad and Mary betrayed your mother in the most painful way possible. talked crap about her after she was dead, and had the audacity to come at you for taking away a big experience for them. Duck that. I'd straight up tell them that you don't want anyone at your wedding who couldn't even keep their own vows, and that you don't want anyone in your life who trash-talked your dead mother. As far as you're concerned, they're as dead to you as your mother is. I'd also tell anyone who tries to convince you otherwise that you have no problem cutting them off too if they don't shut up. Not the a-hole. This is your wedding. It's about you and your future spouse, no one else. Both your dad and Mary were incredibly cruel in speaking about your late mother that way. What an awful, unnecessary thing to do. They are not entitled to your time, presence, or generosity. No one who could ruin the day for you should have a place at your wedding. Not the a-hole. Stand your ground. That woman crossed a major line when she spoke that way about your deceased mother. To steal a woman's husband, then say foul things about her to her daughter, is vile. She doesn't deserve to have any part of your life, and neither does your father for his part. Don't let these people guilt you. They felt no guilt for what they did, and that was drastically worse than excluding someone from a wedding. So I, 19 female, have a friend, Jessie, 20 female, who was 7 months pregnant with her first baby. It's a boy. 2 weeks ago, I got a puppy, Milo, male, 5 months. I have always loved the name Milo, and my friend knows this. Me and her have talked about what we would name our kids, and I always said Milo. But I don't have kids, so I named my dog Milo. She's never showed interest in the name, and said she didn't really like it. A few days ago, she came over to meet him, but I hadn't told her the name. I told her that instead of waiting for a baby, I'm using Milo as the name of my adorable fur baby. I had already gotten tags and collar for him. She was really quiet, and I asked what was wrong. She said, "I'm naming my son Milo. You can't name your dog that. I don't want my baby named after a dog." I told her that you knew I loved the name. You've never liked it anyway. She said that her baby's name was more important than a dumb animal's name. She told me that her and her boyfriend had already bought shirts with the name on them, and they had already told their families about it. I told her that she knows why I love the name. She proceeded to tell me that I needed to change it, and that the dog wouldn't care what its name was. The thing is, I have a connection with this name. I wasn't sure if I was going to name my dog Milo, but when I met him, I knew that was his name. My older brother's name was Milo, and he was my best friend. He died when I was 10 and he was 21. Me and him always said that we would name our babies after each other. When I met my dog, his eyes were almost the same color as my brother's. I miss him so much, and I figured I could still use the name for my future baby's middle name. I was a bit sad considering she knew my brother and knew why I loved the name. I told her that I would prefer if she didn't use the name, but it's her baby, she can do whatever. I hate causing drama. At this point, she's yelling at me to change it, and that she didn't care it was my brother's name. She wanted it, and I wasn't backing down. She ended up calling her boyfriend to come get her, and left. Last night, I got a call from her mom that she was really upset about not being able to use the name. Her mom said that it's just a dog. I don't have to be so attached. I told her mom, this is my dog, named after my brother. She can do what she wants. I don't care. A few others in her family are saying that I'm an a-hole for stealing the name, and that she loved it and had been talking about it for months. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. No one cares if your baby shares a name with some random dog. Also, you can't steal a name when you don't know someone else is planning on using it. Not the a-hole. You didn't steal the name. You had already said you would name a future child Milo. Your friend is attempting to steal it because she got pregnant first and, for some reason, thinks she has the right to the exclusive use of the name. She has some nerve knowing its history. I wouldn't back down if I were you. I, female, 44, am on the smaller side, 5 foot even and 108 pounds. I fly often for work, and this is the first time this has happened. I boarded a flight from Toronto to Vancouver, 5 hours, and was in an aisle with the seat beside me being the window. My seatmate arrived, and she was an extremely larger woman. I got out of my seat so she could pass to sit beside the window, said hi, trying to be friendly, to which she replied, "I'm not here to make friends," raised the armrest, and sat in the seat. As she sat and settled herself, she was 1/3 in my space. I sat back down, and her thigh was pressed against me. Her arm was resting on my chest, and I was crammed into my seat leaning into the aisle. I reached over and pulled down the armrest, which effectively pressed her into the window, bulkhead, so the bulk of her was off of me. She started screaming that she had no room, and I was assaulting her, and generally causing a huge scene. I waited until she took a breath and calmly told her that I can't even sit in my seat, and she was literally on top of me, and she then started screaming that I was fat-shaming her. I once again calmly told her that I had purchased a seat and can't sit like that for 5 hours. Even with the armrest, she still had her leg and arm on me. And her reply was that I was small, so it's not like I even need the full seat. So I replied, saying how if she doesn't like people commenting on her body, why is she commenting on mine? She lost it. Not wanting to become a TikTok sensation, I, at this point, called over the flight attendant and asked her to resolve the issue. She took one look at the raving, swearing, frankly out-of-control woman and offered to move me to business class. My friends and family are divided on how I handled it, so taking it to the unbiased opinion of you guys. So, am I the a-hole for not sucking it up? Not the a-hole. I'm smaller and this has happened to me too. People are not entitled to your seat because they can't fit in their own. She should have bought a second seat or a business class, first class seat so she could fit. Airline pilot here, not the a-hole. I'm sorry you had to deal with this. It sounds like you handled it the best way you could have. I suspect the larger woman's goal was to get you to move. If a person does not fit in the seat, they need to either purchase a first class ticket or a second seat. I believe most airlines offer a discounted rate for a second seat. When dealing with people on airplanes, try a short adult-level discussion, then get the crew involved. It sounds like that's exactly what you did. I came across this while on my quest to find answers as to why my oldest daughter behaves this way and feels the need to hurt her mother so deeply. My daughter and I have always had a complicated relationship ever since she was a child. She was often strong-willed, overly confident, and was frequently in trouble with her teachers for being too social during class. We often had to teach her manners and reinforce good behavior while making sure she didn't grow up to be too arrogant. She has always suffered from mental health issues and has convinced herself of things that never actually happened. And when she married her husband and got pregnant with her first child, she suddenly told me she didn't want me visiting her anymore. I told her she has broken my heart, and I'll give her what she wants then, which is space. When my grandchild was born, I found out and tried to initiate a relationship with my grandchild, but she always prevented it and kept them from me. She would send me elaborate Reddit posts claiming how aggressive I was to her that bordered on dramatic and delusional. She never wanted to be a mother, I believe, and that's why she doesn't want me to know my grandchildren. After repeated letters and emails to my daughter, she kept ignoring me to hurt me. My heart is constantly broken, but I don't want her to think I'm not trying. It's been 6 years since she spoke with me, but friends and family usually update me on how she's doing. I found out through my ex-husband that my daughter is pregnant again. I was deeply hurt by this, as my sisters and mother were all aware, yet I wasn't told until after she had already gave birth to my grandson. I told my sisters that I am deeply hurt that they contributed to hurting me and participating in activities designed to hurt me. I told them that they should have told my daughter that they wouldn't keep her pregnancy a secret and exclude her mother, since they would hopefully say that they love. One of my sisters told me I was some hurtful names and blocked me, while my other sister just ignored me. I told them both that I need to have boundaries then and not let people in my life who do things to hurt me. My mother told me some more hurtful things and that I am in the wrong. I don't think I am. And I genuinely don't understand where all this animosity towards me for just being a loving mother who tried her best came from. The fact that you're not elaborating, gloss over her mental health, and this entire post has more me's in it than a Nintendo Wii game is a glaring red flag that, yes, the a-hole. Your grandkid's life is about them, not about you. Seriously, this reads like an entitled parent post. Yikes, you sure use the words "to hurt me" a lot. Do you really think the world is revolving around you? And people live just to hurt you? From what I see from your post, you were a toxic mom, and your daughter is trying to get away from you to protect herself, not to hurt you. The fact that you continue to think that she is doing this on purpose just so she can hurt you is totally delusional. Yes, the a-hole. None of this is about you. No one has to reveal secrets to you. They don't owe you anything. They clearly want you out of their lives. Why do you keep harassing them?